From its very beginning, Ukraine has been a land between two places, a crossroads connecting Europe to the west with Russia's vast eastern steppe. It is an ancient country made up of rolling hills, forests, and rivers stretching from the Carpathian Mountains in the north to the Black Sea in the south. Ukraine's diverse landscape bears testimony to the many people who have settled here, a mosaic of European, Asian, and the Middle Eastern cultures that can still be seen on the faces of its people. Ukraine shares a culture and language similar to that of neighboring Russia and Poland, but Ukraine has its own unique identity, formed in large part by a complicated and often painful past. Throughout their long history, Ukrainians have grown accustomed to surviving hard times and dramatic changes. And the decade and a half since gaining independence from the former Soviet Union has been no exception. But after nearly 10 years of little growth and almost no real reform, Ukraine finds itself at a crossroads once again. Walk along busy Khreshchatyk Street in Ukraine's cosmopolitan capital of Kiev, and you begin to understand why economists are calling this former Soviet republic Europe's fastest-growing economy. Foreign companies have begun investing in everything from hotel construction to automobile manufacturing. And domestic industries are booming too, like the country's budding IT sector. Ukraine is now home to the world's fourth largest supply of computer programmers, most of them under the age of 25. Which isn't surprising when you consider the average age of a business leader in Europe's new tiger economy is only 29.
You see the young entrepreneurs and how creative they can be. You have people with capacity, you have people with the drive, and now they're beginning to get experience. And you'll see a lot of young entrepreneurs beginning to cross borders and start doing deals abroad.
Ukraine's highly educated and cheap workforce has attracted the attention of world-class manufacturers and investors. So too has its reform policies. Top income rates were slashed from 40% to 13%, and laws were passed regarding land privatization and intellectual property rights. But that was only the beginning.
New civil code, new commercial code, new customs code, new land code, tax reform, antitrust law. I mean, they've changed what I call the cornerstones of any legal system.
All this legislation is clearly paying off. Ukraine's gross domestic product has climbed by over a third since 1999 and is expected to expand by a remarkable 13% in 2004. Consumerism has also taken root with upscale shopping malls and designer boutiques offering Ukrainians the same name brands found elsewhere in Europe and America. Ukraine's government can be credited with getting the reforms right, but the real engine behind Ukraine's growth is its private sector. Small to medium-sized companies generate two-thirds of the country's gross domestic product and are on the front lines when it comes to changing the business environment here.
I think it's them that are pushing it. They are the ones that are driving the business toward being more transparent. They are the ones that are pushing for reforms.
Ukraine's new business leaders are also pushing for reforms to attract foreign investment. After years of government bureaucracy and rampant corruption, international investors are finding Ukrainian partners who understand their needs. Oksana Yelmanova is typical of new business leaders here. Her Kiev-based consulting firm specializes in land development deals and has partnered with foreign companies before. Yelmanova knows exactly what investors want.
For me, it is crystal clear what an investor expects when investing funds. He wants to receive a profit and be confident that he will achieve the results that he agreed upon at the start.
Ukraine's young businessmen and women are eager to show the world that they have what it takes to compete in a global economy. EU enlargement has also brought the borders of Europe to the country's doorstep, and once again, Ukraine sees itself as a crossroads of two cultures.
You can't neglect the fact that there's historically roots in Russia. Their cultural, the language, there's family ties. I mean, people used to move a lot from Soviet Union, so you see that Ukrainian with father from Russia and the mother from Ukraine, there is that root. Two, there are very important trade links in Russia. And that is the largest trading partner. But at the same time, you can't neglect that Ukraine is a European country, by definition, by location, by history. So there is that duality of having to respect the culture that you have in your most important trading partner, but at the same time, want it to be part of a wider Europe.
Ukraine seems to be charting that course well, keeping good relations with their giant neighbor to the east, while offering European and American companies a springboard into Russia's vast market.
I think that the government, the parliament members, they have realized that they have to encourage business development, whether that is encouraging foreign investors or domestic investors alike. You can see in all these reforms, you can see a clear strategy from the government, from the parliament, from the ruling elite, of trying to develop business.
Work still needs to be done before Ukraine can compete with its European neighbors to the west. But the air of confidence is unmistakable on the streets of Kiev.
It's new energy. It's an energy which has been liberated only a few years before, but which sees no bounds that would limit its creativity. We see Ukraine as a country which in 10 years will bring new benefits in the area of both technology and culture. It's a country which understands that its future depends on the efforts of its own people. We have many problems that still need to be addressed, but the mood is different. We are confident, first, that we can resolve them. Second, that it's only us who will have to resolve them. People believe in their future. Ukraine will be a proud country, which will not be isolated from the world, but will be proud to be a successful part of it.